Welcome to our presentation for Assessment 2 of Strategic Games for Business. This will be presented by myself, Ian, and Sunny. In our report outline, we will detail descriptions of two strategic interactions. We've divided the work between us, each taking on one of the three sections, the report outline, Part A and Part B. We have set up a work plan which includes internal deadlines and have held weekly check-ins via WhatsApp. This plan allowed us to produce a quality report in time for the deadline. Part A, simultaneous question. Kieran and Sunny are best friends. They would both like to join a sports club at university, but must decide which club to join. Kieran wants to join the football club, whereas Sunny wants to join the basketball club. Both would prefer to join either club together rather than joining a club by themselves. If they join football club, Kieran enjoys himself and receives a payoff of 2. If they join basketball club, Sunny enjoys himself and receives a payoff of 2. If Kieran or Sunny joins a club they did not want to join, they only receive a payoff of 1. Part B, sequential question. Joey and Ian are deciding what to do for dinner. Joey has let Ian choose between cooking at home or eating out at a restaurant. Based on Ian's decision, Joey has to decide on whether they eat steak or sandwiches. If Ian chooses to eat out, Ian will pay the bill for both of them. However, if Ian chooses to eat in, Joey will cook for both of them. Regardless of whether they eat in or out, Joey and Ian would both prefer to eat steak if it isn't at the cost of their own time or money. If they eat out and Joey orders steak for the table, she receives a payoff of 8, while Ian receives a payoff of 2. If they eat out but Joey orders sandwiches for the table, she receives a payoff of 6, while Ian receives a payoff of 3. If they eat in and Joey makes sandwiches for them, she receives a payoff of 3, while Ian receives a payoff of 6. If they eat in but Joey makes steak for them, she receives a payoff of 2, while Ian receives a payoff of 8.
In this simultaneous game scenario, Kieran and Sunny are best friends who would both like to join a sports club at university, but must decide which club to join. Kieran wants to join a football club, whereas Sunny wants to join the basketball club. The pure strategies that were available to me and my opponent was to either join the basketball club or the football club. Here is a payoff matrix representing this interaction if it were to be played simultaneously. This strategic interaction represents a battle of sexes coordination game, in which we have multiple strategies and their payoffs depend on the alignment of their choices, and also one of the coordination equilibria is preferred by me and the other is preferred by Kieran. We see here that in the payoff matrix, that if we both decide to join the football club, Kieran would get a payoff of 4 and I would get 3. And if we both joined the basketball club, I would get the payoff of 4 and he would get the 3. If we both joined our undesired clubs, we would each get 1, and if we both joined our own clubs, we would each get 2. Based on the payoff matrix, we have come to a conclusion of 2 pure Nash equilibriums where we both joined the same clubs, giving us payoffs of 4 and 3. However, when we look at the payoff matrix for mixed strategies, we have to account for probabilities as we see denoted with P and Q. A mixed strategy for a player consists of a random choice to be made with specified probabilities from his originally specified pure strategies. To find the mixed strategy Nash equilibrium, we will first assume Kieran plays basketball with P and football with 1 minus P, and that Sunny will play basketball with Q and football with probability 1 minus Q. The payoffs from a mixed strategy are the probability weighted averages of the payoffs from its constituent pure strategies. After extensive calculations, we have come to a conclusion that the mixed strategy equilibrium is for Kieran to go to basketball club with 0.25 and football club with 0.75, and for Sunny to go to basketball club with 0.75 and football club with 0.25. The first strategy that can be considered is by negotiating with each other. They could negotiate each other to find a compromise that satisfies both of their preferences. For example, they could agree to take turns joining their preferred clubs, ensuring both get to participate in the activity they enjoy. However, if one party were to make a more harsh decision, they strategically time the decisions to observe each other's choices before making their own to maximize their individual payoffs. This could involve waiting to see what the other person chooses and then making a decision accordingly to maximize their joint payoff. When I played this game with Kieran, we both decided to join the club that we each wanted. Kieran picked football while I picked basketball club. Given the analysis highlighting that the mixed strategy Nash equilibrium is for both of us to choose our own clubs with zero point 0.5 probability, we should be picking our own clubs when mixing our strategies. However, our payoff would only then be 2. Therefore, I would have played the game differently and joined his club, as it's shown in the pure strategy equilibrium that it's in both of our best interests to try and join the same club, as we would both receive the highest payoffs.
Hi, I'm Ian, and now we will be talking about sequential games. A sequential game is where one player chooses their actions before the other chooses theirs. Firstly, assuming Ian being the first mover in this scenario, Ian decides between eating out or eating in. The rollback equilibrium would be eat in and sandwiches, which has a payoff of 6 for Ian. Ian recognizes that if he chooses to eat in, Joey will likely opt for the less time consuming option of making sandwiches. This choice yields a higher payoff of 6 for Ian compared to the alternative choice where Ian chooses to eat out, which is only 2, as Joey will be expected to choose steak, which results in a much smaller payoff for Ian as he will be footing the bill. But what if we switch roles, where Joey becomes the first mover and Ian becomes the second? The rollback equilibrium will still be eating in and sandwiches, but this time for different reasons. Previously, Ian chose to eat in because eating in comes at a lesser cost for him and a much better payoff regardless of the options Joey chooses. However, in Joey's case, although eating out and having steak yields the best payoff for her, she still chose to have sandwiches instead. This is because, as she knows that if she chooses steak, Ian will decide to eat in, which then turns Joey's highest payoff of 8 to the lowest of Joey's payoff of 2, as having steak at home requires her to spend more time cooking. Hence, anticipating Ian will choose to eat in, she chooses to make sandwiches, the better option for her regarding the circumstances. In this scenario, both the first and second movers have distinct advantages. The first mover can strategically shape the decision making process, potentially influencing the subsequent choice of the other party, given their knowledge of the payoffs. On the other hand, the second mover enjoys an information advantage, allowing them to observe the first mover's decision before making their own and optimizing that payoff accordingly. This dynamic is particularly relevant if Joey was the first mover. Lastly, when I experienced this game in real life, the outcome was also eating in and having sandwiches. I strategically assessed the situation, recognizing that dining in would allow me to enjoy a meal at no cost, as Joey would be the one undertaking the cooking. Similarly, Joey also acknowledged that if we chose to eat out, I would be the one footing the bill, affording her the opportunity to savor a more delicious meal such as steak without incurring any sorts of expenses. However, in the absence of knowledge of each player's payoff structure, the rollback equilibrium may have been really different. For example, Joey might have opted for steak initially, since it provides her the payoff of 8, the highest. This choice could have allowed me to quickly decide on eating in than eating out, since it comes at no cost for me. Plus, I will get to enjoy a nicer meal too, which also secures me a payoff of 8. I realized that this strategic decisions aligns with the dynamics of Battle of the Sexes game, where each player's decision hinges on the other's choice. Key concepts such as strategic inner dependence emphasize how each player's decision influences the outcome, while information asymmetry highlights uncertainty stemming from incomplete knowledge. Strategic thinking is essential, as players must anticipate and respond to their counterparts' actions to achieve the most favorable outcome for themselves. Therefore, an aspect that I would have approached differently is to exhibit greater spontaneity and unpredictability in my decisions, making Joey feel that I am open to the idea of eating out and would be happy to foot the bill. This will then make Joey to be more inclined on choosing to have steak, which then allows me to decide on eating in and achieving a higher payoff. Thank you.